Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of season 4 here with Sunderland, our first season in the Championship, and the best way I can sum up the entire season as a whole is I'm just really happy it's over. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 49 of the Sunderland Till I Die series here on Football Manager 2021. And we are at the end of our 4th season here with Sunderland. So make sure if you have enjoyed this series or any of the videos that have been released on this channel, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hitting that notification bell to be alerted when these videos are released. And we're only one episode away from episode 50. And of course, that episode will be a season review of all the leagues in game at this point, how other teams are getting on. So if there's any specific teams that you want me to check out, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. And I did say in the previous episode that we could potentially be playing 2 games in this video. Unfortunately, we continue to be terrible. You thought that it could get a little bit better after last episode. No, it didn't. We are terrible. I don't know why, but we're terrible. So that has left us at a point where there isn't really anything to play for. We're currently 8 points clear of Middlesbrough, who are in the relegation zone. So we're not in any danger of getting relegated, but we're also not in the position of actually being able to do anything positive. So this game against Millwall, who are already relegated, 2 teams not really playing for anything, but it's more, it's more the feeling, the final game of the season. Can we end the season on a good note for what has been, for the majority of the season, pretty poor, viewers? And as you can see, we're currently in 19th place, and if there was one image that could pretty much sum up the entire season very, very quickly, it would be the league positions history page thing here. We're like a mountain. That is the best way to describe our season. It's been a mountain. We started off really well, the dazzling heights of 4th and 3rd, and basically Arsenal. The dazzling heights of 3rd once again, and then we just tumbled and we just fell like a ton of bricks in a pool, and now we're as low as 19th. We had the dazzling heights and the success and the positivity of being in the playoffs. What happened to it? What happened? And with that in mind, we will go into it a little bit more in the next episode. But mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, there is going to be an almighty rebuild at the end of this year going into next year, because quite frankly we don't have an option. We're going to have to rebuild the side because we can't afford to have a season like this again, because if I feel like we go into next season with the team that we currently got, we're going to be battling relegation. I want to be battling for top spot. I want to be the Newcastle of this year, where they got themselves promoted with 94 points, absolutely dominating the entire year with only 5 losses. We want to be the Newcastle Leeds next year, and for that to happen, we're going to have to rebuild the majority of the squad. So I don't think a lot of these players are going to be here next year, if I'm completely honest with you. I can't think of many players. Ola Sunday, Sam Hughes, Jimmy Dunn are probably the nailed-on players that I'm definitely going to keep. Potentially the likes of Embleton, George Dobson. That everyone's position is under threat right now, and they have got to prove to me in this final game that they deserve to wear that famous top. I know it's blue, and Sunderland are in red, but imagine I'm wearing a Sunderland shirt. They need to be wanting to, love the badge, kiss it. They want to kiss the badge, they want to love the club, and right now, I feel like none of them love the club. And the board, for the overall majority, are pretty happy with the way that this season has gone. There is a little bit more red than I was expecting when I went onto this screen, but the majority of the red is from our club culture, so they're not happy with us not signing under the age of 23. Defensively solid, direct football, counter-attacking football. I couldn't give a stuff about any of them. They tried to call me, told me what to do. I was like, no, hung up on them, just put the phone down, completely blanked them. But we're doing well in terms of developing players using the youth system, so they're absolutely bloody delighted by that. I'm not working with my wage budget. I don't know how much money I'm going to get at the end of this year. I'm hoping a little bit of money, because right now we are spending 192,000 on our wage budget, and I'm not going to have any money for next year. I'm a little bit concerned about. If we have a look at the overall goals, I'm pretty happy with us avoiding the relegation battle, and basically said don't be rubbish in the domestic trophies, which we were a little bit rubbish, but not as rubbish as they were expecting. So, yeah, the board's pretty happy. I'm a little bit more ambitious than the board, though, ladies and gentlemen. So they may be happy. They may be like, first season in the Championship, we didn't get relegated. You know, we were all right in the trophies. No, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Bloody Chairman, I'm more ambitious. I want trophies. I want promotion. So make sure you give me the moolah and the money to work towards that for next year, please. If I only get like 200k, there's going to be a bit of a problem. I don't know what I'm going to do. But that is a bridge we'll face and go over when we actually get to it. The more I look at it, the more bloody ridiculous it comes across. We only have 3 green dots on the entire screen. Oh my God. Is that the worst record I've ever seen? I feel like it probably is. There's so much red. My God, I knew it was always bad. I knew it was bad. But the more I look at it, the more absolutely bloody pathetic it looks. Oh, please just let me win a game at the end of the year against Millwall, who are already relegated. So since the last episode, which was, of course, the 2-1 home defeat against Nottingham Forest, we played 6 games where it didn't get any better. And quite frankly, as sad as it sounds, I'm actually pretty happy that we were able to just get 2 points since we last met each other, because the only way it could have got worse, which is fairly obvious, is if this was all red. If it was all red, I don't know how I would have been able to sit here and do a video without breaking down and just questioning the existence of Sunderland in this save, if I'm honest with you. But 2 points our last 6 games, I'll take it. Overall, it's pretty pathetic, but right now, I've got to take any positive, viewers. But the first game that you did miss since last episode was the 2-1 defeat away from home against Swansea. Swansea are a mid-table side. Thankfully, we didn't have to go against Wilfred Boney, otherwise this would have been about 7-1. But we did lose the game 2-1. The only goal for ourselves coming from Lyndon Gooch, and Swansea dominated the game from start to finish, which is going to be an all-familiar theme throughout the results that I'm about to show you. Dobson with the only positive rating was 7.0, and if you're looking at expected shots, or expected goals, sorry, Swansea were much superior than ourselves. We stuck with a 4-2-3-1. Swansea also went with a 4-2-3-1, where there wasn't loads of positive ratings, but they were just relatively clinical. With a very quiet first half, Swansea scored their only 2 goals in the 59th and 72nd minute, so a pretty quiet first half, but then Swansea sprung to life in the second half to give us another defeat. Just another. I should have a soundboard of just another defeat, another defeat, another defeat. I should just have that every time I lose, because that would be the most successful button on my stream deck. Not that there's many buttons, but it'd be the most successful one. Into one of the few games that we actually got a point from was an away tie against Huddersfield. And even with Huddersfield getting a man sent off in the 63rd minute, having to play over 25 minutes down to 10 men, we still couldn't break the deadlock. And even with them down to 10 men as well, we couldn't really take a hold of the game, and that is reflected on the stats. If you look at the stats, only 10 shots, 4 on target, 8 shots there, 4 on target. And Huddersfield, even down to 10 men, still played pretty well. They still definitely had the chance to go 1-0 ahead, and instead of us having that defensive issue, we're now having the issue of we can't score and we can't defend. And that is obviously the worst thing that you can have when going into any football match of any kind. So a 0-0 draw against Huddersfield. We then had another game, another 0-0 draw at home against Cardiff, where I did play Matt Olasunde for the first time in this game. And it probably was a little bit too early for Matt to come back, but he did get himself injured in the 50th minute. Thankfully, it wasn't anything to do with the broken leg that he may or may not have got about 5 or 6 months ago. It was simply like a pulled hamstring or something. But obviously, in the 50th minute, best right back is back into the game and he gets injured. You're fearing the worst, right? Thankfully, it wasn't anything too serious. And in terms of the game overall, very, very boring game. 2 injuries for us was probably the most exciting thing to happen, and their offside goal in the 69th minute. Smallbone also getting an injury, and is he still suffering from that? He's not. Smallbone is absolutely fantastic, but he's been absolutely awful for us. 18 games, 1 assist. Absolutely terrible for Smallbone there. So them 2 injuries didn't really have an impact on the game. I brought on Embleton and... who did I bring on for Olasunde? I don't know who I brought on for Olasunde. I'm assuming it's probably Bailey Wright. But yeah, another 0-0 draw are only 2 points that we were able to get from all the games that we played since you were last here. We then went into a 3-game losing streak where our first game after the COD game was a 1-0 defeat at home against title winners, table toppers, Newcastle United. And weirdly, one of our better performances actually came up against Newcastle, the team that has absolutely destroyed the Championship this year. Don't get me wrong, we definitely deserve to lose this game. The stats reflect that pretty well. But I went into this game in the hope that as long as we didn't concede about 4 or 5 goals, that would be a good result. Instead, we gave them a pretty good battle. They definitely had to work for the goal against us, and they probably could have scored a few more, but thankfully Jimmy Dunn and Sam Hughes had a pretty good game, which was able to keep the scoreline down to a respectable level. Of course, I went into this game expecting to lose anyway, and Newcastle were always going to win, considering how good their side is. They've got Neil Mopai, Radu van der Berg, who I'm assuming is on loan. He's not. Wow, Liverpool sold him. And they've got Ethan Lard as well, I think that was, from Manchester United, who... and they bought him as well. Wow, Newcastle have been on a little bit of a spending spree. But yeah, 1-0 loss against Newcastle. Probably one of the more positive results, despite the loss out of this entire games that you're going to be seeing. But in the next game, there was no positive in this game. A 3-0 loss against Barnsley away from home. I mean, there's not really much I can talk about in this game, if I'm honest. We didn't have a single shot on target. Barnsley had 19 shots. 6 on target. We had a 0.12 expected goals in the entire match, but somehow some players actually played well, despite the fact that we were literally pinned back on our own half for the majority of the game. Jimmy Dunn seems to be getting a lot of good ratings recently. A 6.98 throughout the entire season is impressive considering how poor we've been, and Dobson also getting a 7.1. But yeah, really disappointing result. 3-0 loss away from home against Barnsley. I don't know how good Barnsley are. That was a regen. They're 4th, so they are in the playoffs, so they are a very, very good side. And this Ferdinand Kouassi is one of their, up-and-coming regens, I'm assuming. He came through the Barnsley Youth Academy, so I'll be interested to see if he continues being a first teamer, and he had a great game. 2 goals. Probably a little bit disappointed not to get a hat-trick considering how dominant Barnsley were. At this point, I'm just happy it's coming towards the end of the season. 2 games left, one of which was unfortunately a home defeat against Birmingham. I'm just glad the season's over, and hopefully after this game against Millwall, which, I'm not going to lie, probably going to be a loss, we can just get the season and just go, see you later, and we can just forget about it and never talk about it ever again. At least we scored a goal. Right? At least we actually scored an actual goal in an actual football match. Oh, what is the world coming to when I'm just begging for a goal to be scored? A 2-1 loss at home against Birmingham, and this was our final home game for the season, and it was massively annoying and frustrating that we couldn't at least get ourselves a draw and just give the fans a little bit of positivity, let them go away from the stadium, a little bit of an upbeat feeling. Instead, we were, once again, absolutely terrible. And as soon as I saw the cheat code, aka Mr. Troy Parrott from Tottenham, was playing for Birmingham in the Championship, I knew immediately the game was over. The game was done even before it started. And he scored in the 43rd minute, which reaffirmed that fact. Somehow, though, and thankfully, we scored an actual goal. Mr. Gooch, straight after Birmingham scored, and at this point, I'm loving life. I'm right, we're back. for the final 2 games of the season. But besides that, we're back. Let's get ourselves another one. Momentum's on our side. Then it was half time, and then momentum had just disappeared. And then they scored in the 56th, and then the game was just dead and buried at this point. As soon as they scored a second, I was like, if this doesn't end 4-1, then I'll be happy. And that did basically leave us with, how many games is this? 5, 9, 12, 15, 16... 16 games we haven't won a game for in the Championship. That has to be a record, right? That has to be a record, surely. Most games without a win. Where is it? Winning. Cambridge, 31 games. Blimey, you were terrible. We won't get to that point. At least I hope. Obviously, if, like, 4 weeks' time, we're sitting here like, yeah, we beat the record, then something has gone terribly wrong. But in today's game, which is going to be, of course, against Millwall, we are away from home. They are relegated, so they literally have nothing to play for. I mean, if there's a game that we were able to actually get a win against, this is probably that game against a team that's already relegated. Probably his morale's in the bin just as much as ours. Somehow my managerial support is going up, despite the fact that we've lost more games than we can count. But I think I'm going to stick with the first team. I'm going to go guns bloody blazing. I'm going to go Rambo into this game. We're going to have Lee Burge in goal. Matt Sunday doesn't have a time to rest. He's still got half a broken leg at right back. Sammy Hughes, Jimmy Dunn, Harry Pickering, George Dobson, Will Smallbone, Lyndon Gooch, Embleton, Batista Mier, and even Guessant as our first 11, I won't say heroes, villains at this point, into the final game of the season. So make sure you put in the comment section how you think this game will go. And why not tell me how you think this season's gone? Rate it out of 10. 1 being terrible, 10 being absolutely fantastic. If for whatever reason people say 10, I know you're lying and you're definitely like pulling my finger. I feel like I should have had a look at the league table and had a look at the goals scored for each team and goals conceded, because this literally has a 0-0 written all over it. And I mean, 17 minutes into the game, that is most definitely reaffirming my fact, as there is a chance here. Millwall, oh god, please be a counter-attack. Lyle, why are we terrible? Why are we so bad at football? Maybe we should go play tennis instead. Oh. It's a goal for Millwall, if you didn't notice. It's a free kick. Lyle literally could have picked that ball up and walked into the net. He was so unmarked. And don't show me VAR, because it's clearly not offside, is it? I mean, who was meant to be picking him up? Jimmy Dunn sang his praises, been playing well for a few games, and now on the game that matters, final game, in front of the audience, he lets me down as... I said there'd be a 0-0 all over it. I mean, I was wrong, wasn't I? Townsend, is that Andros Townsend? Master... If they score again... What do I do? I can't believe it. I literally can't believe it. I mean, it's a well-worked goal, defensively all over the place. Lyle just gets away from Pickering, and we're picking the ball out of the net for the second time in 2 minutes, as he does a bloody... turly-whirly thing, I don't know what they're called. Lyle's got himself 2 goals in 2 minutes. Right, we can get back into this game. Millwall are terrible. Sam Hughes, if we're losing against a team that finished last and got relegated, then my God, we're in trouble for next year. Jimmy Dunn, right, can we get ourselves an opportunity here on the left-hand side at Batista Mier? Ball to Embleton. Right, this is what I like to see. Passing the ball round, nice and composed. Lovely ball to Pickering. Can we get ourselves a goal? Show Millwall what we're all about. Because right now we are showing ourselves... Oh, for fuck. Oh, my God. How have we not scored that? As Millwall are definitely the better team. I mean, I say that. They've had 2 shots and they've scored both on target. As we go into half-time and nothing is happening. So that is absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad that I didn't have to go into this game needing a win. Oh my God. The edge of half time. Batista Mier. Guessant. We're back. We're back. We're bloody back, boys. Come on. Right. What do I do? Oh, it's half time though. Right. If we get 2 in 2 minutes, my God, it's going to be Sunderland ball. Oh, please. Oh, right. It's half time. It's half time. Stay composed, viewers. Stay composed. I know you're panicking. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. These fans have been fantastic for us all season. Good, good. Right, glad you're all listening. You know what? Can I throw individual water bottles? I think I can. I think I did it last episode, didn't I? Apparently we have positive rating. Batista Mia 7.0 and even Gusson. I'm not happy. Oh, lovely stuff. Right, they're all fired up. They're going to go Hellboy on me now. Right. Early goal. We got a goal at the, latter stages of the first half. Second half. This is our time. And if we can get ourselves an actual win here, this will bring the season to an end very, very nicely, as there are 60 minutes on the clock and absolutely nothing's happening. Right, let's make some changes. Max Power, hopefully powers him. I mean, this is mixed up. Max Power on for Will Smallbone. Don't know what else to do. Matt Sunday is basically running around with one leg at this point. Let's get him off. You know what? Let's go a bit more attacking. Let's add a little bit more, aggression to our game. Velovsky, wing back, attack. Pickering, wing back, attack. Look at you go. Right. Push up. We are the flying arrows, ladies and gentlemen. More direct. Be more expressive. I'm trusting you all, to be flary and off the bally. Jimmy Dunn's on a yellow card, which is that something I should be worried about? Potentially. Oh, no. Burge. See, I knew all along you were a fantastic keeper. You are a great keeper. Sam Hughes. Not even going to say anything anymore. Master with a goal. It wasn't even Master. Was it Master or Lyle? I don't even know at this point. I think it was Master. I mean, why are we doing that? Jimmy Dunn, you're better than that, mate. You're literally better than that. I mean, it's a great finish, to be fair, on the volley. 3-1 against Millwall. Right, you know what? I've got a keeper on the... You know what, McGuinness, go up for Gusson. Just do anything. You can do anything better than any player on the pitch right now, Mark McGuinness. Named after a bloody beer. Oh, if this is 4-1. Right, Millwall have just turned into prime Barcelona all of a sudden. And annoyingly, it's against me. Dawson. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. They've scored 4 of their 4... I don't know what to say, viewers. I literally don't know what to say. And annoyingly, I said this at the start of the game. This literally has a 0-0 written all over it. And did it, Alex? Did it really? 0-0. Did it really? Clown, mate. Bloody idiot. Right then, that's the end of season game. There was a lot of goals in the final day. And Millwall, Blackpool, Middlesbrough all got themselves relegated. Thankfully, I didn't have to win that game because that would have been too stressful and way too emotional for me to deal with right now. Having to go through League One with 3 playoffs, couldn't deal with that. I wouldn't be able to deal with another emotional game. Right then, that does bring us to the end of season 4. Probably our worst season so far in this series. I mean, if you have a look at this at the start of the year, look how good we were. I mean, it's a story of 2 tales there, isn't it? I don't know what happened. We're going to have to figure it out, but that's going to have to be in tomorrow's episode. Well, thank you so much for all the support. I really do appreciate it. I really hope you're enjoying this series. As painful as it may be sometimes, I'm loving it, and hopefully you are as well. But thank you so much for sticking with me. If you do enjoy the video, make sure you're hitting that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell to be alerted when episode 50, bloody episode 50, is coming out, which will be tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Have a lovely morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you're on the world. Stay safe, and I'll see you episode 50. Goodbye.